These days I'm talking to you all regarding my experiences with the governments of India. Wherever I've been posted, wherever I've traveled, and I had the knack or desire to meet all those people. If I can meet them, if not meet them, I can visit their places and see their shrines. So, in continuation of our talks, this was the year 2009. I was posted in Vijayawada, and Vijayawada, so the area where I was required to visit on various inspection. There was a place, a coastal town called Nellore. So, well, when I visited Nellore, I saw the preparations of the great man's visit to that place, and it was 2009, just I think 2 years before when he left this mortal world. It was simply unbelievable. He, you see, where he was supposed to stay and conduct his meeting, for few days the entire town was filled with flowers, and many other roads around around where he was supposed to stay and hold meetings, or wherever his cavalcade was to supposed to pass, had floral arch with the word Swagatam printed on huge boards. Thousands of volunteers wearing blue scarves round their necks were on duty to direct thousands of men and women who came to have his darshan. My dear friend, I thought, if any one single person who can, the traffic, you see, the traffic has to be diverted from congested roads leading to venue of his meetings and residence. And suddenly the thought comes, if any one man could have drawn larger crowds, then this person, it had to be Honorable Prime Minister or President of this country. And that too without their karyakartas, of whichever party they belong, rounding up villages, loading them on trucks and buses to transport them to meeting grounds. And my friend, the person was the great saint of India, was Sathya Sai Baba of Puttaparthi. Now, Mr. Sathya Sai Baba, he claimed himself to be the reincarnation of a Shirdi Sai Baba. And his only mission, following the footsteps of Shirdi Sai Baba, was to spread love, humanity, and help his followers to achieve salvation. Now, since I was posted in Vijayawada when I returned, I inquired. His Puttaparthi was in adjacent nearby state, Karnataka, Anantapur, in Anantapur. But it was just a 500 kilometers drive, like from here, Kanpur to Delhi. You see, not much, six and a half hours. So I thought I must visit. I did made a visit. I saw his institution, fantastic. It is beyond description. You see, we all know that Indian soil is very, very productive of prophets, messiahs, gurus, saint, the supernatural people, people who have claimed divinity. We have always had man and women claiming to be the incarnation of various gods, and some have even declared themselves God, even God in human form. My friend, what would be regarded a sheer blasphemy, treated with ridicule by Christians or a sentence of death in Islam, is acclaimed by brothers Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs as an avatar. Even in Islam, there is a school of thought The lot many people, very highly acclaimed Maulvis or the Alims, they say that Gautam Buddha was again a prophet of the God, though not specifically mentioned by name in the Quran, but indications are there. Now, so we have many Bhagwans, gods, Swamis, lords, rishis, sages, maharishis, great sages, acharyas, teachers, saints, sants we call them, and gurus with large, huge following. Interestingly, I had read a book of Mr. Peter Brent in his The Godmen of India, and he explained in his inimical way. He says that in the West, Mr. Peter Brent, the author of Godmen of India, he says, in the West we are free to work for the approval of those who love and respect, and whom we would like to love and respect us. Not so the Indians. For Indians, particularly those of the middle classes, there are only two directions they can go to prove that they can love and be loved. This is friend Peter Brett is writing in his book. He's saying that these are not my words, quote unquote. The author of Godmen of India, Peter Brett. You can see it. And there are only two options for India. One is forward. One is forward homosexuality. One is if you go other way, one is towards homosexuality, and the second is towards the Godman. The Godman. The two not being mutually exclusive. Brent concedes that the guru-disciple relationship is more than the frustrated sexuality or the psychological wounds inflicted by the authoritarian parents. He goes on to explore the assumptions that the guru in the Indian version of a psychoanalyst. The guru is not a doctor. He is but a teacher. He nurtures spiritual aspersions and not psychological problems. If anyone is to be put on a crouch, it is not the Godman, but his followers who look upon him as God to find out what is missing in their lives, which they hope to fulfill by associating with their chosen Godman. It's not producing Vibhuti, sacred ashes, they call it Vibhuti, sacred ash. Materializing watches and medallions from the air, or regurgitating shrivelings, and such tricks can be performed by a magician and cannot withstand the test of scientific scrutiny. The devotees, faith has more solid foundations. They have unquestionable belief that the Guru can do no wrong. Just few years, I think 20, 25 years before, 15 years before the Sathya Sai Baba left this world, an American disciple published a book. You all know it. It was in headlines of every magazine, journals, and newspaper. He published the book, Lord of the Air, accusing Sai of the sexual deviation. The book disappeared from the market in just a few days because of his huge fan following. In modern days, we can say the Asaram Bapu. When I questioned a lady disciple, when I visited Puttaparthi, relaxing, jokingly, I just happened to ask her, who that lady has spent most of the time here, all of her young days at the Sai Baba's ashram. She jumped on me like an angry tigress. She was so angry, and said, I have not heard of any such silly book. I don't want to read such rubbish. I do not wish to discuss it with people like you, who can entertain such thoughts and ask such questions, and that too in the precincts of the holier than thou's ashram. do not wish to discuss with anymore. Even a few years before, you all must be knowing it, before he died, some young men forcibly entered the Sai Baba's personal quarters. There was a shootout and some lives were lost. The matter was again hushed up. But whatever, notwithstanding, whatever I saw after visiting Puttaparthi and whatever I read on and gathered information after talking to people, that Sathya Sai Baba was a very good man with enormous charisma. He has built schools, colleges, and hospitals. He is also a patron of music. He was a great patron of music and dance. Most South Indian saints are. Many other godmen and women have also built educational institutions and clinics. But he was unique in the sense, what was unique about Sathya Sai Baba? He had the caliber of his, he has the caliber of his Indian followers. Unbelievable. He had the great educationist, Dr. V.K. Gokak, and the scientist, Dr. Bhagwantam, on his board of trustees, most reputed, renowned people. He even had Mr. Bhagwati, the retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Supreme Court as a chairman of his trust. Far too many reputed, distinguished people were in the managing trust of the Sai Baba's board. Among his disciples was also, you must have heard the great name Nani Falkiwala, and even the our Indian former president, Mr. Shankar Dayal Sharma. Former Prime Minister, Mr. Narasimha Rao was his great follower and fan. And dozens of, I think almost every Chief Minister of most of these states and governors of the central government and other eminent men and women. My dear friend, in no other country will you find so many people with such blind, unquestioning faith in another human being. I think this is all because of the latent fear of the unknown in people's mind. Everybody is fearful or insecure for the future. So they look support in all the godmens. One great poet has so beautifully, if you want to really enjoy life, then khauf, kahar, pasmanzar nikale. Take out all kinds of fearful background understanding you have in mind. Khauf, कहर पस मंजर निकाले, जहन में बैठे हुए सब डर निकाले. घुट रहा है मेरे ही अंदर दम इसका, रूह को अब जिस्म से बाहर निकाले. बढ़ गया है दायरा परवाज का जब, तो परिंदे भी नए कुछ पर निकाले. My dear friends, shed all kinds of fear from your mind. You are the one who is responsible for making your life good, better or ugly. No second human being walking on a biped, 2 legs, can really bring any unhappiness or happiness to you. Start believing in yourself and see how things change. Thank you very much.